Hello everybody. So I have a new video for you today. It is about how to convert your original Microsoft Excel budget to a Google Sheet document. And I've been converting almost all of my documents and sheets and everything to Google because my computer can fail. My computer can break down, or there may be a fire or whatever, but the internet is not going anywhere anytime soon. My computer can blow up, and if I have things on Google, then it'll be there for me anywhere that I have internet connection. So what I'm going to do is show you today how to convert your Microsoft Excel budget that you've created to a Google Sheet. Okay, so the first thing you're going to need to do is you're going to need to log into your Gmail account, your Google account, and go ahead and just type in drive.google.com. And if you've never been to your Google Drive, then you may have to verify your account or those kinds of things. Hopefully, all of you are familiar with Google Docs, Google Drive, that kind of thing. If not, this isn't the place to explain it, so I would hop on to one of my other videos or some other videos on YouTube and just figure out what Google Docs or what Google Drive is. So here on Google Drive, I click New Google Sheets. And you're going to see that it looks a lot like Microsoft Excel. And that's not a coincidence. Essentially, Google Sheets is Microsoft Excel. It's just a different company that owns it. Now, this is Google's program, and Excel is Microsoft's program. But they function pretty much identically. As far as we're concerned, they are the exact same. Okay? So, you're going to rename your sheet whatever you want to name it. If you remember from our previous videos, we had our fictional family, the Spark family. So we had Gideon and Hazel. Whatever you want to name it. This titles your document. Now if you would come back here to Drive, you will now see Gideon and Hazel. If we were to close this right now and then click that, it opens right back up to where that was. And again, if you're new to Google, you may wonder, well, we never clicked a save button. You don't have to. That's one of the other reasons I absolutely love Google Sheets or anything on Google Drive, is that it saves automatically every 1 or 2 seconds. So watch right here. Watch right here. If I just come in here and type something, saving, all changes were saved. Close that, open it back up, and it's right there. So again, that's one thing. I don't know if any of you have ever lost work from, or any word processor or anything like that, where you just didn't save it and then there was a power bump or something. Well, Google Drive, you don't have to worry about that. So you now have your sheet ready. Down here along the bottom, if you continue to organize your budget the same way that I taught you, then you're going to have a bunch of different sheets. And again, as with all these videos, you adapt what I teach you here to your particular circumstances. So what I'm going to do, so if we take a look here at this is our Microsoft Excel that we're looking at right now. By the way, this is very different from what you last saw in my last video. This is how I've adapted my budget to meet my needs, and yours should look very different. And that's good, because you should have adapted your budget to meet your specific needs. So this is what mine's going to look like here, or our Gideon Hazel family is going to look like. So I have one from the last month of the previous year, a sheet for all the months, and then the year-end summary, right? And so that's what we're going to create over here. Okay, we've got our tabs in, and here's our Excel. So why don't we're going to just convert over to where we are right now. So we're just going to take the month of April. The month of April is done. The month of May is not done yet in my world. So I'm just going to take April's. I always copy down to the 200th cell. And I'm going to copy, just Control-C or copy everything from A to T to row 200. and then I'm in April. I'm going to select cell A1 and paste, or Control V. Okay, and it'll chew on that for a second, and then you'll notice it. There it is. Now you'll notice it looks very different. It's not the same as that. They have the same layout, but they don't look the exact same. We've lost a lot in the transition here because, again, they're two different programs. They function similarly, but they are two different programs. So at this point, you have kept all of April's data. All of April's data is here. And you can do this for all of the previous months. So you go to March, you go to February, you go to January, you copy everything, you come over to your new tab, and you just paste. Okay, and because it's past tense, these are months that have already happened, we're not concerned about the loss of formula. At least I'm not. I'm not concerned. And when I say formula, if you remember, if I were to come in to right up here, the date night running total is determined as a sum-if function. It's going to be searching all this data down here for anything titled date night, and then it's going to add in that monetary figure, and all my figures down here that are associated with date night will be added up to equal that number. So this is in Excel, or yeah, this is in Microsoft Excel. Come back over to Google Sheets, date night, it just says 117. There is no formula. The formula is gone. The formula did not transfer. And that is where your work lies now. The majority of your work in this transition from Excel to Sheets is just formatting and formulas. The easiest way I recommend you do this is you have two monitors. If you can have two monitors, do that. If you don't have two monitors, get your tablet or your phone or something, or a laptop, and because over here to the right, you obviously can't see it, but over here to the right I have a second monitor. So I'm going to just drag my Excel sheet over on this right monitor that you can't see, so that way I can just go back and forth. Now, like I said, and the other thing I said you're going to have to do is a lot of formatting. So this obviously does not look right. We want to see our title. There's our title, April 27. We're going to change the font color. But that looks nothing like it did on our Excel. Like I said, that kind of formatting is all gone. So you're going to have to adjust that however you want to. Again, for me, in the past, I didn't bother fixing anything in the past. It's not worth my time. So anyway, you're going to come through and you're going to need to fix layouts and everything however you want to. Right? You can adjust the column sizes so that everything fits on one page. Okay, so at this point, we've got everything on the same screen. You'll notice that, again, there's just a lot of little things here that for some reason they don't transfer. We're missing a border. We're missing a border there. We're missing borders here. I don't know why. I don't know why those didn't transfer. So that's stuff that you can fix on your own. And again, it doesn't actually affect the functionality of the budget, so we're not going to spend any time on it. What does affect the functionality of this budget from the transfer from Excel to Sheets is that all the formulas were lost, as I already mentioned. So how do you fix that? Well, like I said, you have two monitors, and over here on the right monitor where you can't see, well, I'll just show you really quick. So I'm over here under date night in the running total, right? And I'm just going to copy, and then I'm going to come over here to Sheets, come up here to the formula bar, paste, press enter, and now it is the exact same formula. You'll notice you can compare these two side by side. It's the exact same formula, and it's going to function the exact same way. Again, Sheets and Excel are the same program, they're just run by different companies. But all the formulas will function the same. The average ifs, the sum ifs, the if-then functions, everything that I showed you how to use, those will all work here in Google Sheets. So your job is to go through to all these cells where there should be formula, and that's where you're going to need to have your previous document open. So I know that every single formula here in my running total, or every single cell should have a formula, and you'll see here in the Sheets that none of them, besides that one, none of them do. So that's your job. You now have to go back in and put in all of those formulas again. Now, instead of having to write them by hand, if you can get a second monitor, or if you're comfortable with the Alt-Tab rule, by the way, if you're wondering how I'm going back and forth here. Oops. Just like that. That's all happening without me using my mouse. Like you can see my mouse is just floating here. And then I can go back and forth without using my mouse. That is by using on your keyboard the Alt key and the Tab key. If you hold down the Alt and then press Tab, all of your available screens that are open on the computer pop up. And then you can just, I'm still holding down the Alt key, and then I can just tab through which one I want to open next. Okay, so there's our sheets, there's our Excel, so then I can just, again, I'm here on mortgage, so I can just come up to the formula bar, copy, mortgage, formula bar, oops, there we go, paste, and there you go. Okay, so you're going to do that for all of your running totals. Essentially, what I would do if I were you, or how I did mine, is I just went through cell by cell, just really quick with my mouse button or my keypad, and anything that that started with an equal sign, I knew I had to put in the sheets. Anything I didn't, I just skipped. So I know all of the running totals have to be put in. I know all of the balance left formulas need to be put in. All of these you can just copy and paste. So you're not doubling your work here. Maybe this seems a little overwhelming. You're like, oh, this isn't worth it. I'm going to be just have to recreate my entire budget. No, you really don't. Everything's already been laid out for you. All the boxes are in the right place, right where you left them. The only thing you need to do is just copy the formulas. Literally, copy, Control C, or copy, and then come back over and Control V or paste, right? And then you're good to go. And again, why this is worth it? Because you're never going to lose your budget. Your budget can never be lost on Google Sheets. The entire Google server would need to be destroyed, and that would take basically a nuclear war, since Google has servers all over the world. So you're never going to lose your budget this way. It's always going to save automatically. You can access it anywhere in the world. You can be, I don't know why, but you can be on a vacation in Maryland or something and be able to access your budget anywhere you have internet connection. So you're going to copy all of your formulas in. Okay, you're going to copy all of your formulas in. Another thing that's been lost. Okay, and so that copy formula problem, that should take you, 15, 20 minutes, depending on how complex your budget is. After you get all your formulas in, another thing that has been lost in this transfer from Excel to Sheets is your conditional formatting. If you watched that 5th episode of the original series on conditional formatting is what determines what colors these will be, right? In the original conditional formatting, if it was a yes, it should say green, or it should be green, and if it said no, it should be red. But that didn't work. Over here, it's supposed to be cream or tan or whatever that is. If it was a no, it's supposed to be green if it was a yes. Didn't work. These were supposed to be green if they were positive, or red if they're negative. So if I were just to come in here and write negative 100, it doesn't change. We've lost all of our conditional formatting. So that's another thing that you're going to have to come in and do. And it functions very similarly. In fact, I think it functions better than with Microsoft Excel. So let me show you how to do that really quick. And here's how I did it on mine in mass. I'm going to copy this entire row, basically all of row 6 here, where I want conditional formatting to apply. Then I'm going to come up to Format, Conditional Formatting, and then it just pulls up over here. That's different from what you saw in Excel. Okay, so it's telling you this conditional formatting that you're about to do applies to C6 to T6. That's what the range is. And then what are we looking for? Okay, we want it to be, in this case, we're going to apply a couple of these. If the number is greater than, format cells if greater than 0, and then what do you want to have happen? And I'm just going to use the default green. If it's greater than 0, you can just use the default green. You can also customize it however you'd like to. Okay, done. Now, let's just say this was 600. Now you'll notice that it changed. The background, at least. It didn't change the font color because the font color was red by default because it copied over that way. So we've got that in place, but let's do it again because that's just for green. Add new rule. It's the same area. If it's less than 0, we're going to choose the red background. We're going to do one more time. If it is equal to 0, we're going to do the yellow, and I'm going to do blue font because why not? Done. Oh, but again, remember how I said if this were to change to a negative, the font color doesn't change? Well, we can make that so that does happen. Just by saying the text color is going to be black. When this formatting kicks in, what color do I want the text? I want it to be black. If you don't tell it that, it'll just choose the default text color, whatever was there before. Okay, so click done. We're going to do I already chose the text color on that one, and then again, black text color there. Now, if I come in and change this to a positive 600, or a positive 100, or a 0, or a 0, you get the point. You're going to need to conditional format everything in here that you wanted conditional formatting. And again, the system it functions the same, it's just laid out very differently from Microsoft Excel. These are all of your rules, and I personally think this is an easier system than the way Excel had it laid out. So there's that. Conditional format everything that you feel you want to conditional format. Another thing worth noting is that even though there are dollar signs in here, these cells aren't actually recognized by the program as being monetary cells. Cells that are supposed to have money in them. So if you highlight all those cells that are supposed to be money and you just come up here and click on Format as Currency, you'll notice that that's 0. Let me go back. So that's just a 0 right now. It's just chilling there as a regular number 0. But if you condition it, or if you format it as a currency, then that changes. So as you come in here and remove these by just punching in zeros, because that's what they represented in Excel, then they will punch in as 0 figures. So that's another thing. Every cell, every row, every column that's going to be having money in it, you should format as currency. Just like you should format as date every cell that's going to have dates in it. And you would do that by coming up here to this little more formats and date right there. And if you don't like that date system, which I don't, you'll notice down here that I like the shorter version. You can come to more formats, more date and time formats, and then you can select how you want your date displayed. That's totally up to you. So that's kind of nice. Another thing that you're going to have to do is put in those drop-down menus. You'll notice down here, no arrow. These were supposed to be drop-down menus. If you come back to our original, you can see I get the little arrow and I get a drop-down menu. So we need to get that in here too. All you're going to do is you're going to select the entire column down to 200, at least that's what I do, for your category, and then you're going to come up to Data, Validation, and this is telling you what range. We're talking E29 to E200, okay? And then you're not looking, so right here it's asking you where is it going to get your list, the list of options that you're going to choose from. This list. Where is it going to get that list? And you're going to tell it that you're getting it from a list of items, and then it wants you to enter those items separately by a comma. Okay, so I'm actually going to pull my Excel over here to the side so that I can look at it while I type at the same time. And then we just go mortgage, comma, PYF, comma. Okay, so once you finish that list, I always choose reject input and then save. And then you'll notice, click, there's your list. And that's been applied to all of these cells. The little red triangle is letting me know that I forgot to put in the utilities. So that's how you apply the drop-down menus there, and you're going to need to do it again for payment method, or at least I did, because I have 4 payment methods. I have the cash, check, debit, and credit. So you'll have to, again, do the same data, validation, items, credit, debit, check, cash, reject, save. And if you like I did, if you liked having them different colors, then you will have to condition format that, and I'll show you how to do that again. Let's pretend that's not there. So you'd have to come up to format, conditional format. If text is exactly credit, what do you want it to do? Just to show you that it's working, if I click red, the background goes red. If I click yellow, the background goes yellow, green, and so forth. So you would do that to condition format those so that they show up as different colors. Also be aware of this, for some reason, some of my texts got blacked out, if you will. So like right here, it shows that there is information in that box, but you can't see it. So I have to just come up here and change the font color so that I can see them. So in your copy and paste process, just make sure that you have your original open to look at so that you can make sure that you haven't lost anything. Alright, so at this point, you know how to bring your month up to date. You know how to copy and paste your month from your original Excel onto your sheets. Do that for all of your past months, and then when you come to your future months, or your present months if you will, right, then all you have to do is the same thing that you have been doing from the beginning. You would copy the entire system and then paste it onto the new sheet, and all of the formulas would still exist, still applicable to that sheet. So just like you were doing with Excel, you can continue to project or apply this budget in the future months as you go along. Okay, so you've done that for all the past months. Do that. Now you'll continue to do that month by month as we go along. Now the year-end summary, I don't know if you've been doing that or doing anything like it, but it is a lot more complicated. The thing with the year-end summary is that every single cell in this highlighted range has formula to it, and you're now going to have to redo all of that. That's the kick in the butt. You would just have to, again, copy the whole thing, all the data. I keep just the summaries of every previous year that I've been doing this. I keep those summaries. So I'm going to copy all of that, jump over here to my summary tab in Sheets, click Paste, and just as with the other stuff, some of the formatting is wonky, so you're going to have to fix some of that stuff, and all of your functions are completely gone. Let me show you how I did this more quickly than you might be anticipating. You're thinking of coming in here and typing in the functions individually for each one. For example, we want the mortgage for January, well, we didn't do January, so we want the mortgage for April right here to be whatever we put in this cell. In this case, it's C5. And to remind you how to do that, the function, and of course you should look at your Excel sheet if you don't remember what these functions are, because your Excel sheet should still have them. But it's the name of the tab with an exclamation point afterwards. And that's the reason I like having all of my tabs uniform with only 3 letters. It makes it easier for me to remember that I only have to use 3 letters and then the exclamation point. So it's the tab, although we wanted April, didn't we? It's the tab, exclamation point, and then the cell, which we said was C5. 1096.88. And to prove to you that that is working, if we were to come up here and write down 5500, come to the summary, you would see 5500. So we know that that function does work. So to speed this up, so that you don't have to, for every single cell, go equals May exclamation point C5 enter. To speed things up, here's how I did it. Copy the exclamation point C5. So highlight it in the formula bar, Control C, press enter. And then what I'm going to do, and I'm in January now, I go equals Jan paste. Control V, V is in Victor. Control V is paste, enter, equals Feb paste, March equals March paste, April equals April paste. And this allows me to go a lot faster. It reduces the amount of typing I have to do by 50%, which is nice. So then you're going to have to do that for every one of these. So then PYF, what you'd have to just make sure that PYF is going to be D5. So you would then come back here, go equals January, exclamation point D5. Copy the last three and the Feb paste, March paste, so forth and so on. So yeah, it'll take you 10 minutes or so, but for me, the data is worth it. The data is worth the effort. So you're just going to go through, punch all that in. You'll have to redo the averages. Those ones you can just copy and paste straight over from your Excel sheet. The totals you can copy and paste over, or it's just as simple as it's a sum function. So sum all that and press enter. Anyway, just go through and punch those all in, replace all the formulas with the ones on the Excel sheet, and then you're up to date. So hopefully this has been helpful for you. You are, totally capable of going back and entering in all budgets from previous years if you want to. I personally don't plan to, but if I was really smart, it'd probably be the most prudent choice. Would it be just to come back in really quick, create a new sheet, and then have that be for 2016, and then I do it all again for 2016 stuff, but I won't need to update the formulas. I won't need to update any of the formulas or the conditional formatting because it's all past tense. And all the data is not going to be changing. The only reason we needed to update the formulas and the conditional formatting was so that we can get it to work for us for future months. So copy and pasting should be a matter of 10, 15, 20 minutes depending on how many years you want to transfer in. But then all of your data, all of your records, everything, it's on the internet, it's on the cloud, it's not going anywhere. If your computer crashes, if your house burns down or blows up, you will always have that information. And that's it. Pretty simple. Hopefully this made sense to you. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments. I haven't been very good about answering comments recently, but I will try to be better since this is a newer video. Like, share, subscribe, all that jazz. Make sure to check out my video list for other videos, tutorials, reviews, any other videos that might be beneficial or helpful to you. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. What's the word I'm looking for? Hopefully I've been helpful. I already said that.